In this video, we're going to look at the pet class programming problem. And this is a programming problem where you will write the code for a class, and then you'll write a program that creates an instance of that class, and it demonstrates how the attributes and various methods work. So we're told to write a class named pet, which should have the following data attributes, and we're given three data attributes that the class should have: name, animal type, and age. And also, I should mention that we're prefacing the names of these attributes with 2 underscore characters. And you'll recall that from your textbook that when we preface a data attribute name with 2 underscore characters, that's how we hide that attribute from code that's outside the class. It makes the it's similar to making the attribute private in other programming languages. So the name attribute is going to hold the name of a pet. The animal type attribute will hold the type of animal that the pet is, and we're given some examples. It might be a dog or a cat or a bird. And the age attribute will hold the pet's age. We're told that the class should have an init method, which actually creates these attributes. So these 3 attributes, name, animal type, and age, these will be created in an init method that will presumably accept arguments for those attributes. Now, in addition to the init method, we should have the following methods. Set name, which assigns a value to the name field. We'll pass an argument to that method, and it will assign that argument to the name field. Set animal type will assign a value to the animal type field. Set age will assign a value to the age field. Get name will return the value of the name field. Get animal type will return the value of the animal type field. And get age will return the value of the age field. So in essence, the class will have these 3 attributes plus an init method that will initialize these attributes, and then we will have the typical mutators and accessors. Set name, set animal type, set age, those are the mutators. Get name, get animal type, and get age, those are the accessors. Now, it's worth mentioning that this programming problem gives you all of the details for the class. You don't have to worry about designing the class, figuring out what the attributes are, what the methods are, because this programming problem tells you everything that the class should have. This is basically an exercise in writing the code for a class, learning the proper syntax, just making sure that you know how to get all of the pieces of a class put together properly in code. So once you've done that, you will write a program that creates an object of the class, and it prompts the user to enter the name, type, and age of his or her pet. The data should be stored as the object's attributes. Use the object's accessor methods to retrieve the pet's name, type, and age, and display this data on the screen. Okay, well, now that we know exactly what is supposed to be in the pet class, let's switch over to our Python editor and let's look at the actual code. So here we have the code for the pet class, and I've stored this code in a file named pet.py. So this is the pet module, and it contains the pet class. So inside the class, here we have the init method, and you'll notice that it has the self parameter, which is required for methods. And then we have 3 additional parameters: name, animal type, and age. So when we instantiate the object, we're going to pass 3 arguments to the init method. 1 for the name, 1 for the animal type, and 1 for the age. So inside the init method, here we assign self.__name. So we're assigning the object's name attribute, the value of the name parameter. And here we are assigning the animal type attribute, the value of the animal type parameter. and we're assigning the age attribute the value of the age parameter. So that actually creates the data attributes and assigns them the values that were passed as arguments. Here we have the set name method. This is the mutator for the name attribute, and we pass an argument into this method, and that argument is assigned to the object's name attribute. Here is the set animal type method. This is the mutator method for the animal type parameter. So we simply pass an argument to this method when we call it, and that argument is assigned to the object's animal type attribute. And then the last mutator is this one, the set age method. We pass an argument for the pet's age, and that argument is assigned to the object's age attribute. So those are the mutator methods, and the rest of these are accessors. Here is the getName method. It returns the value of the object's name attribute. Here is the getAnimalType method. It returns the value of the animal type attribute. And here is the getAge method. It returns the value of the object's age attribute. So this code satisfies all of the specifications that were given to us in the programming problem. Now let's look at an example of a program that creates an instance of this class. And here we have an example program, pet demo. In this program, the first thing that I'm doing is prompting the user for the pet's name, the type of animal that the pet is, and how old the pet is. So we're going to store the user's input in these variables: name, animal type, and age. And then here in this statement, we create an instance of the pet class. This is going to instantiate the class, calling the class's init method, and you can see we're passing the name, the animal type, and the age as arguments. So that will create the object and initialize the data attributes. And so then the last thing that we're going to do is display the information that is actually stored in the object. We're going to display the pet's name, and here we call the getName method. We're going to display the animal type, and here we call the getAnimalType method. And we're going to display the pet's age, and here we call the getAge method. And of course, you've noticed that I've imported the pet module here at the top. We need to do that in order to get access to the pet class. Okay, well let's run this program and see how it works. Okay, so the program is asking us for the pet's name. Well, I have a dog named Addie, and what type of animal is that? It's a Labrador. And how old is the pet? 4 years old. And here's the data that was stored in the object. Here we have the name, the animal type, and the age. Now that was one example of a program that demonstrates the pet class. I actually have another program that we can look at to demonstrate the mutator method. You'll notice that in the previous program, well, let's just bring the previous program up. Here's the program we just executed. And in this example, we got the name, animal type, and age from the user, and then we created an instance of the pet class, and we used the init method to store the user's input in the object. Well, in the next program we're going to look at, we first create an instance of the pet class, and we simply send, let's just call them empty values as arguments to the init method. We send an empty string as the pet's name, we send an empty string as the animal type, and we send 0 as the age. So these are, maybe default values. Then we get the name, animal type, and age from the user, and then we call the mutator methods, setName, setAnimalType, and setAge, to assign those values to the object. So this will prove as a test for the mutators. The rest of the program is the same. So let's go ahead and run this program, and we'll just provide the same data as input. Addie's a Labrador, and she's 4 years old. And there's the data that we entered, and that shows the data as it was retrieved from the object.